Most foreigners never feel connection in Japan because they only speak one of the two Japanese languages, and nobody tells you this. No textbooks, no teachers, no language schools, nobody. So in this video, I'm going to show you the truth behind this. Why so many learners walk straight into the wrong path, why it leads to isolation, and how you can escape that completely. Once you understand these two languages and how Japanese people actually use them, everything will finally make sense. So here's what's happening to most Japanese learners. They spend years studying Japanese, like grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, those things. And they think, alright, I can finally speak decent level of Japanese, I'm ready. So they come to Japan excited. They imagine making friends, vibing with locals, connecting with people they've admired for years. They imagine conversation flowing naturally like anime scenes, drama scenes, or podcasts they've been watching. But then reality hits. They try to talk to Japanese people, and suddenly it feels like there is a invisible wall between them. Like the conversation never gets close. Like something is just blocking the connection between these two people. And the Japanese people are smiling. They're polite, respectful, but they kind of like keep you at a distance, a polite distance. You probably felt it, especially if you've come to Japan and already experienced the culture. But the worst part is, you can't fix it because you don't even know what's going wrong. So the more conversation you have, the more isolated you feel. Like your social needs aren't fulfilled. You don't feel understood. You don't feel seen. Like you don't feel connected to anyone. And suddenly Japan, the country once you dreamed about, starts to feel cold. You feel so empty here. So you start wondering, why do I still feel like an alien when I speak their language? And some people, even after moving here, even after investing everything, investing their whole life in their home country to move to Japan, end up leaving Japan. Because being here without actually feeling connected to anyone is simply mentally brutal. And the craziest part, it happens to way more learners than you think. This is the real problem that nobody talks about. But what's actually going on here? You know, I've spent hundreds of hours teaching Japanese, breaking down native speech patterns, and studying the entire Japanese market like a scientist. And I found a huge reason that every learner gets trapped by. You're not learning the right language. I'm not talking about grammar or vocabulary. I'm talking about the fact that there are two different languages inside Japanese, which are formal Japanese and casual Japanese. I guess which one the entire Japanese learning market teaches you? Formal Japanese. Textbooks, apps, classroom, YouTube teachers, language schools. I found that they all give you the formal Japanese as the default language. But here's the truth, most learners don't know. No Japanese kid grows up speaking formal Japanese. We don't talk to our families in formal Japanese. We don't talk to our friends in formal Japanese. We don't talk to anyone close to us in formal Japanese. Formal Japanese is not the foundation. It's not the default language. It's not the emotional core for Japanese people. It's not how relationships are built. Formal Japanese is something we only start using when society forces us to. That's a huge part of Japanese culture you need to understand. As we grow up, Japan, the whole society teaches us, be respectful, don't stand out. I mean, they don't directly say this, but this is basically the message of Japanese education. Older people above you, if they're older, they're automatically superiors, which is kind of stupid in my opinion, just because they've been living like 1 year longer. Like why are they automatically superiors? Doesn't fucking make sense. Use polite language, otherwise you're just a rude person. So what happens is, formal Japanese becomes the language of distance and sometimes respect. So this is a language we use to bosses, teachers, strangers, people outside of your emotional world, situations you must be proper. So basically, this is the language for survival. It's almost never for connection. It's so difficult for Japanese people to speak emotionally with this formal Japanese. On the other hand, casual Japanese is the real emotional language. This is the language we make joke, tease, flirt, show personality, we show honesty, we show who we actually are. So this is the language Japanese people use when they trust you, when they feel safe, when they feel close, when they let their guard down. So for Japanese people, casual Japanese equals emotional intimacy. And formal Japanese often equals polite distance. And here's a real problem. You are taught the distant language first. They teach you how to speak politely, correctly, properly. But they almost never teach you how to be real, sound human, how to connect, how to vibe, how to show emotions. So when you talk to Japanese people, guess what happens? You speak the language their polite brain responds to. You're speaking the language that's signaling, please don't come into my emotional world. I want distance from you. I want distance from you. That's why it sounds like to Japanese people when you're only speaking formal Japanese to them. So that's why you feel invisible. That's why conversations feel flat and stiff. That's why people feel distant. That's why you feel lonely in Japan. But you know what? You already know that. It's not your fault. It's simply the system's fault. You are never taught the side of Japanese that actually deals relationships. So how do we avoid all of this? How do we stop feeling like outsiders and finally start building real connections with Japanese people? The solution is honestly very simple. Step 1, we need to learn casual Japanese seriously. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably heard me saying this over 1,000 times already. Thank you for supporting me, by the way. But more people need to hear this. Most learners spend years learning the wrong language. Some people keep studying formal Japanese without even knowing the casual Japanese actually exists. They watch polite YouTube lessons, podcasts. They memorize textbook phrases that nobody actually uses in real life. So of course, every conversation feels flat. So to avoid that, we need to learn casual Japanese. This is very essential to avoid ending up lonely in Japan. We need to learn the casual Japanese that Japanese people use with friends, family, and the people they care about. We need to watch content where natives speak casually. And when we do that, we listen to how they react, how they soften sentences, how they speak emotionally. Because casual Japanese is where connection lives. But what exactly do we need to pay attention to? And that leads us to step 2. We learn the emotional language inside casual Japanese. In casual Japanese, there's tons of patterns that this Japanese language system almost never teaches, which is casual ending particles, filler words, softeners, masculine and feminine nuance, subtle tones, emotional expressions. These things don't always change the meaning, but they completely change the feeling. Most teachers don't touch this, because most of them, I can tell, they don't really pay attention to it. They don't think about it consciously. In most cases, there are no grammar structures or those basic stuff that build your Japanese foundation. Maybe some of them think it's important, but they ignore it. But I promise you, this is the heart of Japanese language, because this is what lets us read the vibe, express who we are, sound real instead of like a robot, show emotions, flirt naturally, joke naturally, and connect. And without this, everything we say feels flat. And people keep us in polite mode. And step 3, pay attention to the vibe, not just the grammar. When we watch Japanese contents, we need to stop obsessing with grammars or perfect correctness. And from that, we have to shift our focus to questioning why did he soften the sentence? Why did she use this tone? Why did she use this speech particle? Why does this sound flat? Why does this sound distant? And why does this sound close? We need to start asking ourselves these questions. Doing this builds our emotional intuition, the part of Japanese you can never get from textbooks. And here's the exciting part that I want to experience. The moment we start learning and using casual Japanese, it's really eye-opening. Japanese people switch their language too. I've seen this with hundreds of learners I've coached. One of my students inside my Nihongo Repio dojo, Andreas, told me, watching the first 2 videos from Irin just blew my mind, and it was like a floodgate just opened up. And another student from the dojo, Akira, told me, when I speak Japanese with my Japanese friends, I can feel the conversation way more than before. So when you start learning casual Japanese, you start actually feeling the conversation instead of just understanding the meaning. That's the power of casual Japanese. And once we master it, Japan stops being lonely. So now we finally break out of the matrix of the Japanese language system. While most learners keep struggling, which I don't really want them to, while they still feel disconnected in conversations, whilst they wonder why they never get close to anyone in Japan, we finally see the truth. We see what's been going on all along. And we know exactly how to connect with Japanese people now. Imagine this. You are at izakaya, or bar, or whatever it is. You see a cool Japanese guys you want to be friends with, you want to talk to. Or maybe a cute girl who's your type. The version of you who doesn't know casual Japanese walks in, speaking perfectly polite formal Japanese. They instantly put you in a polite box. The conversation stays correct, but cold, almost awkward. You're trying to be friendly, finding a way to get close with them, but it just feels impossible. So you feel rejected without anyone saying it directly. But now imagine this new version of you. The version of you who understands how Japanese actually works, who can speak casual Japanese. You walk in, you talk casually, naturally, emotionally. You're using the language that speaks straight to their casual brain, the part of them that feels connection. And boom, instantly they switch to friend mode. You're not feeling the invisible wall anymore. The vibe gets relaxed. The conversation feels easy and natural. They laugh way more, not just a polite smile, but a genuine smile and laugh. They're joking with you already. You guys are talking like friends. This is what happens when we learn casual Japanese. This is the whole reason why I'm teaching this. We are not just learning vocabulary. We are not just memorizing grammar. We are learning the connection language, the one that lets us build real friendships, real relationships, real moments with people we care about. But there are still some people say stuff like, "Oh, I don't mind being lonely in Japan. I'm fine being alone for my whole life." Bro, are you sure? Aren't you lying to yourself? We are human. We are social creatures. We are designed to feel connection. We are designed to socialize. We are designed to feel seen, understood, and valued. It's important to be independent. And sometimes we need to be alone to build something big, to build your dream life. We need to sacrifice some, but I know this from my experience. I've isolated myself for more than a half year. Just working, grinding, building community, creating content, because I didn't feel aligned with the direction people around me were going. So I had to stop hanging out with those people. I recently met some friends who have direction, purposes in their life. And I started hanging out with those people. And in those moments, I realized something. Connection is one of the most important parts of life. And that's exactly why I teach this. If you want to go even deeper or want a shortcut, there's a program I made exactly for that. The name is Nihongo Rapio Dojo. And inside this program, we go deeper in this emotional language. I break down tons of patterns that Japanese people use in casual Japanese. I teach all of this from the experience of actually living in the language for 21 years. We don't study Japanese like a school subject. We learn like a feeling, like a vibe, like the part of who we are. And that's why it's way more powerful than your textbook. So if you made it this far and my content on YouTube already helped you, just imagine how much clarity you get inside this Nihongo Rapio Dojo. Right now, there's a 7-day free challenge that completely flips your perspective for Japanese language. So if you're serious about mastering casual Japanese, socializing, truly connecting with Japanese people, check the link in the description. So now you understand why most foreigners end up being lonely in Japan, and you also understand how Japanese language actually works, and why casual Japanese matters, why formal Japanese keep people distant. And I keep exposing the truth. I keep teaching casual Japanese on YouTube. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'm here to help you level up. Seriously. Let's keep growing together. Let's keep leveling up. Let's master the casual Japanese. I see you in the next one. Let's get it.